Salle School, Bangkok first began enrolling boys on May 17, 1963, from primary 1 up to the 3rd secondary level. That first year, a total of just 342 students were enrolled under a faculty comprised of 11 teachers and 4 brothers. The school owes much of its success in those first years to 4 men: Mr. Chin Bunyanan, Brother Director Michael Fiaway, Mr. Yongyut Cho Kilawi, and finally, the school principal, Mr. Chin Pratkopkit. Just before opening the school to the first students, the Ministry of Education gave LaSalle permission to identify its students using the Thai abbreviation LaSalle. In 1967, Brother Joseph Matt took over as director, and Mr. C. Ta Latanatai Pop as principal. In this year, the director and brothers resolved to make teaching academic subjects in English a primary focus in their curriculum. In 1972, construction began on the 4-story building you can see today on our grounds. It was later named the Joseph Building after the school's acting director. Significantly, the first group of sisters joined the LaSalle community in 1975. Both brothers and sisters shared a common vision and passion for the education of children. Accordingly, 3 years later, the school began enrolling girls for the first time. This auspicious year is also when the first LaSallian Fair was held on the 23rd and 24th of December, 1978. By this time, LaSalle School had grown to include 2 4-story buildings and a 1-story building, which accommodated 2,088 students and 66 teachers. In 1979, LaSalle was given permission to enlarge its program to include kindergarten levels up to secondary 3. For this purpose, construction of a 4th 3-story building began, which would later be used specifically for the kindergarten levels. By the year 1988, LaSalle had expanded even further to include a multi-purpose hall, known today as the JVK Hall, and a 4-story building now known as the Miguel Building. Altogether, LaSalle Bangkok became comprised of 4 buildings used for teaching: the John LaSalle, Joseph, Miguel, and Marianne buildings, in addition to 1 hall and 1 full-size swimming pool. The school is constantly developing in areas such as media, staff, structural, and school environment. This goal towards development is obvious in 1999, when the school added a new library, a modern and clean cafeteria, a nurse's office, an 18-foot flagpole, 8 water pumps around the school area, and 20 new pavilions, in addition to new multimedia in high school and preschool classrooms. Thailand's Ministry of Education finally affirmed in 2000 that LaSalle had met all educational standards for each level, from preschool up to secondary level, in addition to preparing the basic educational curriculum for all grade levels. In 2004, Bunchud Getlad became Brother Director, and on November 30th of that year, the St. Gabriel Foundation transferred the school to the LaSalle Foundation. LaSalle School underwent major renovations in 2005, primarily to the school's first and oldest structure, the John LaSalle Building. After more than 45 years, the building had begun to sink and shift forward in unstable ground. To remedy this problem, all the main beams were replaced with new, modern ones. Even more impressively, the building was elevated 1.5 meters off the ground to prevent flooding during the rainy season. The improvements, though necessary, came at a cost. All classrooms on the first floor were unavailable for use during the repairs, and by the end, the project had cost 33 million baht to complete. This was not the only improvement made to the school, however. A new church was built and given the name Wat Noi. And last, our school began construction of a new 5-story building, which was later called Prat Meta. By constantly striving to improve the school and meet the needs of its students, LaSalle School Bangkok finally achieved completion in 2006 of the facilities you see today. 5 primary buildings, including John LaSalle, Joseph, Miguel, Marianne, and Prap Mekat. These buildings housed 97 classrooms for the education of 4,909 students, 2,848 of which were male and 2,063 of which were female. The staff was comprised of 173 female teachers and 54 male teachers, coming to a total of 227 teachers. In the intensive English department, they added new active boards and projectors to facilitate ESL learning in 2010. The same year, the school built a scout camp and installed televisions throughout the school. In the past few years, LaSalle School Bangkok has continued to grow. By 2011, the school had 108 classrooms. 18 classrooms were devoted to the preschool and kindergarten levels, 51 to primary levels, and 39 to secondary education. 2,722 boys and 2,211 girls were enrolled at LaSalle, for a total of 4,933 students. 200 women and 71 men made up the faculty that year, equaling 271 teachers in all. To conclude, LaSalle School Bangkok's long history of steady and determined progress toward improving its facilities and resources goes hand in hand with furthering the overarching philosophy of LaSalle School, which is that the quality of the school depends on the quality of its teachers and students. We can be sure that our long dedication to growth and development will go a long way in achieving the realization of this philosophy.